Hello everyone, I'm Reverend Dr. Red. I'm doing a short series of videos on the Occupy Wall Street movement. With all the mainstream media and underground media that's out there. You know, you see one thing being said in the media, and you see something else being said by the OWS movement. And nobody seems to be able to figure out who they are, and what they are, or what's trying to be accomplished here. So, I'm doing a small series of videos on the OWS movement, and try to clarify for everybody, based on what I've seen in the mainstream media, underground media, and from the occupiers themselves, and try to help everybody understand what's really going on here. Now, I'll also be doing a video from time to time, just recapping on the series that I'm doing now. It'll be part of the series. The more time goes on, the more media that comes out with the OWS movement, the more articles and videos I see of the occupiers themselves, and any confrontations or conversations that I have with the occupiers themselves, I'm sure my opinion of the movement might change. So I will have videos with my updated opinion of the movement. I will also be having videos upcoming ever so often with more new information, either to back up what I've already said in the OWS movement series videos that I've done before that particular video, or to change my opinion on the whole thing, because now something else came forward that wasn't brought to the light in the beginning, that now kind of offsets what I might have said previously, and that will be addressed in any future videos. Now what this video is going to cover is OWS believing that they are the 99%. Now, their motto seems to be that they are the 99%, and they're against 1%. The 1% being the big bankers and everyone that they believe is controlling all the money. Bankers, big corporations, people like that. Granted, there was one video that I saw where somebody actually tried calling Michael Moore a 1%er because he has a mere $50 million. Now, granted, yes, to the average person, especially to me, because I'm poorer than poor, to be honest with all of you, $50 million is a lot of money. And if I had $50 million, I certainly would not be living where I'm currently living. I might actually be able to afford something. Anyways, where I live and the whole setup of my home really isn't important, and it's not what this video is about. That matters. If I had $50 million, that's a lot of money to me. But the 1%ers, at least by definition of 1%ers, not the OWS seem to portray to everybody, you're talking billions of billions, if not trillions, of dollars that each of these corporations have. And I forget the exact number, but the elite have multi-billion-dollar accounts, you know, they're worth individually worth a lot of money. But now the OWS movement says that they're the 1%. And if you are not a banker, if you are not a big corporation, you are part of the 99%. Going by the OWS movement logic, I myself am part of the 99%. Now, I'm going to bring about something that maybe the OWS movement really hasn't thought of as they're doing the whole public relations operation. They've been endorsed by the Communist Party and by the Nazi Party, and communists and Nazis have a lot of different encampments. Now they say that that's not who they are. The communists and the Nazis aren't part of them. Okay, fine. A couple of encampments got rather violent. OWS comes back with saying that's not part of, that's not them, that's not their movement, that's somebody else. They're not violent. OWS is not violent. The ones that are violent, they don't belong to us, not part of our movement. Okay. That's fine. Can we heard this one encampment, and that was all about preaching spirituality and religion. It came out on the OWS. They're not attaching themselves to any one religion. They're not about that. They're apparently above and beyond that because to them religion is part of the problem. To me, religion speaking, because religion is man-made, spirituality, comes of God. Christianity is not a religion, it's a belief, it's a faith, it's spirituality. Christianity is the truth. But to me, the problem, if you're going to look at any religious entity as being a problem, I say the problem is the Vatican. They turned people's spiritual beliefs and faith into a way of making money. But now all of this comes down to this, well, that's not part of us. We're not religious, we're not Christian, Muslim, Jewish, blah, 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 blah. We're everybody. We're above religion. We're everybody. Okay, fine. Then you gotta wonder, well, not all the communists and Nazis are big corporation owners. So you would think because they're working individuals, they don't own big corporations, they're not bankers, that they'd be part of you. And they're part of 99%. That's being screwed over by the 1%. But no, they're part of the 1% because they're not peace and loving. Okay. And say the same thing about the violent personnel of the movement. Everyone who got violent. They're not part of it because they're not being peaceful and respectful. Okay. So these violent people are also part of 1%. Then you say the same thing about religion. Okay, so myself and all the other small churches in my town and all the other small churches and ministries across the country who only have rather small congregations. The vast majority of us have a second job or a third job in some cases to support ourselves and to keep the church or ministry running. You know, we're not making money off of our congregation, and we're not in it for the profit. So, go by definition of what the 1% is. Can you be part of the 99%? But we're all part of the 1% because you're above religious ideologies, and you don't want to believe that Christianity and spirituality is the same thing. You don't even want to believe what true Christianity is. You're going to bash Christianity based on the mainstream teachings of Christianity without even stopping and thinking about what true Christianity really is. Okay, fine. Now, I want you to think about something. The OWS movement. If you're violent, you're not one of them. Communistic or Nazi, you're not one of the 99%. If you have a lot of money, whether you own a corporation or not, whether you work making minimum wage for the past 40 years, and you manage to stock a couple of dollars away, invested it, or just put it in a savings account that you didn't touch, or what have you, and now that accrued to quite a lot of money, or whether you inherit that money, or however you got to put some money, but you don't own a big corporation, you're not a banker, what have you, you're now you're no longer part of the 99%. You're a 1%er. If you are a church or a ministry of any kind, you're no longer a 99%er. You belong to the 1%. If you're violent, you are no longer part of the 99%. If you are not willing to give it your all and stay at these encampments 24/7, I've seen videos of people that will go to work and then go back to the encampment and be told that they're not occupied, they don't belong there, because they have a job working for one of these big corporations. So if you have a job, you are no longer a 99%er. Now, the OWS movement realized that by making all these rules about what exactly separates the 99% from the 1%, they are literally making themselves the 1%, because now 99% of the population is all over here. Then you have the big bankers and the corporation over here, and OWS somewhere in the middle. So you have now theirs on the side with the 1%ers, with the rest of 99% of the population is over here. The OWS movement thought to think about that. Realize by separating themselves from each and every last individual that they are really making themselves the 1%. Now, stating that, let me say this. The OWS also says that they are against big corporations, they are against the bankers, they are against, using the people to get rich, as they put it, making the rich richer and the poor poorer. And they absolutely refuse to believe that the problem isn't actually on Wall Street, but it's in Washington. It's our government, our policies. That's the problem. We need to change the policies. We need a drastic policy reform. But now, the fact that they're against big corporations, Doesn't it strike them as kind of odd, or strike you as kind of odd, how numerous encampments of the OWS movement took funding from their donations that they received and incorporated themselves? So now what you have is a bunch of people that are against corporation. You know, we gotta fight the big corporations, but they're now going to make themselves a corporation. And then you also have the fact that you have, you know, all those people where we want to work out the collective mind. You know, everybody's thoughts counts. But we're going to have a general assembly of 7 to 9 people. And this 7 to 9 people is going to be in charge of the encampment. Then we're going to have this 1 or 2 individuals of the General Assembly of this encampment to act as the mediators to the other encampments, keep the other encampments informed of what's going on with this encampment. So, if you ask my personal opinion of whether or not the OWS movement is the 99%, I'm going to say that the OWS movement is chock full of irony. They're against corporations, but yet they're corporatizing themselves. They're against the ruling elite, but they're electing a ruling elite within themselves to govern themselves. And they're working so hard to have the public relations look where they look good to the media, and which now makes them look good to the world, that they're separating themselves from everybody. And unless you fit their very slim criteria, they will not suggest to the media that you are part of the 99%. You are not part of their movement. You do not believe in the same thing that they believe in. Now, between the fact that they are separating themselves from everybody and every movement and every organization that might give them a bad name and bad media, and then by separating themselves from those individuals and organizations that do fit into that criteria and could give them good media, because these other individuals and organizations can go against their personal beliefs, they are now mentioned to the media that they are not, these people and organizations are not part of the 99%, they are not part of the OWS movement. Okay, well, if you peel all this away, you just now can shed about 99% of the population away from you, which now brings you as being the 1% of the population. You are can be 1%. Then if you want to look at the irony of the fact that that the OWS movement is against corporations and they're against the ruling elite, and then they themselves corporatize, and they have a small number of people within each encampment that are in charge of that encampment, and you have a small number of people within that encampment that is going to control all the money of that encampment, and you have a small number of people that mediate between the different encampments that are controlling the encampments and controlling all the money of the encampments. They are now creating for themselves to be the elite and the big corporations within themselves. And so my personal opinion is the OWS movement are jealous of the 1%. And they don't want to believe that they got there by working hard. I mean, granted, I will admit that due to policies, our policies do need reformation. The problem is in Washington, not in Wall Street. A lot of these big corporations started out 100 years ago or better with nothing, and they worked their way up to what they got to today. Some of them did start only, not too long ago, and through a lot of hard work and effort, got to where they are today. So what I feel you have is a bunch of people that are jealous of the 1%ers, don't want to believe that they actually worked and shed some sweat and, spent a good 15, 20, 30 years working really hard, that they themselves could, too, be up there and have that kind of money and have that kind of, power, if you want to call it that, for lack of better words. They want to take it by force. And that's what I feel they're doing. They don't want to, they believe that they should not have to work. A lot of them haven't worked. A lot of them are children of the 1%ers themselves. A lot of them are just jealous of the 1%. And they are products of the me generation. Everything's about me. My parents come from that generation. I am a child of the me generation. And what do we have out there? A bunch of people, children that are actually younger than me. The average age is what? 18 to 23? So you have kids that are my brothers and sisters' age. They are jealous. And they don't want to work. They don't want the money. They want to be up on top. But they don't want to work to get that. So they started this movement. They got the nations. They incorporated themselves, and they made themselves the elite. And I feel that they are literally building a civilization within a civilization. And if they achieve their end means, these people that have made themselves the elite of the OWS movement will now become the new elite of the world. So, do I feel that they're solving the problem? No, I don't. I feel that all they're doing is replacing the problem with the problem. All they're doing is removing these people and replacing these people with themselves. But you still have the same problem. You still have a small group of people controlling all the money and controlling the planet. Because instead of a bunch of people that are about to die, you now have a bunch of people that are younger than me. My brother's and sister's age. And that are controlling everything. You have a bunch of people that refuse to believe that communism does not work, and has been proven through time and time again throughout history that it has not worked. And it will not work. You have a bunch of people that refuse to believe that fact. You have a bunch of people that refuse to believe that, yes, Wall Street might be a part of the problem, but Wall Street is not the problem. The problem is the world governments. The fact that the governments of the superpowers of the world are incorporating global policies globalistic type policies into their governments and now raining upon their countries. That is the problem. The problem that America has is not within Wall Street. It's within their policies, the governmental policies. It's the government. We need to replace Congress and the current administration with a new one. You've got to get these career politicians out of office and put new, fresh blood into office. That is what will fix the problem. That is how you fix the problem of crony capitalism, and that's how you fix the problem of all these problematic policies and the small number of elite that control everything. You want to take them down, you got to get rid of these career politicians. So my opinion is, well, as of right now, my opinion stands at the fact that OWS is a bunch of jealous youths that do not want to work. Those that do want to work want to start way up here. They figure because they have a degree, they start way up here instead of understanding that the degree only puts them here and they got to work up. And because they have that degree, they can get up here a lot faster than one who doesn't. Like say computers, for instance, computer engineering. Now I know a lot about computers, but I don't have my degree. I do not have my bachelor's or master's degree in computer engineering. So say you do have a degree in computer engineering. We're both going to start down here in that company. We both want to get up here. But because you have the degree in computer engineering, you will get up here a lot faster than I will. By the time you say to get up to here, I might still only be down here. Because I don't have a degree in computer engineering, whereas you do. Just because you have a degree in something doesn't mean that gives you the experience. It gives you the knowledge, but does not give you the experience. Having that knowledge allows you to get up to here quicker, because having that knowledge, you can shoot through the amount of time you need for the experience quicker. You'll be started here and shoot to the top. Because now you only need a crash course, so to speak, in experience. Whereas me not having a degree, and I have to start way at the bottom, and I'm going to be stuck at the bottom for a longer time, because now my knowledge and my experience is coming all at the same time, as opposed to having the knowledge before I even have any experience. So you have the knowledge with no experience, me having no knowledge, no experience, will be going like this. You see, and then you finally get up to the top, and I'm still way down here. So, because you have the knowledge, there's no experience, you raise to the top 3 times quicker than I did for having no knowledge, no experience. That's what having a degree enables you to do. So, will you start out making $100, $200 an hour? No. But will you get there 3 to 5 times faster than somebody who does not have that degree? Yes. So, in my personal opinion, at the OWS, or at least the smaller faction of the OWS movement, all they're doing is trying to make themselves the elites and have done so of their movement, and if they successfully replace current civilization with their own civilization, they will successfully replace the current elite with themselves, thereby making themselves that which they are allegedly against. Again, this is a series of videos on the Occupy Wall Street movement. As different media comes to my attention, and different viewpoints and different activities come to my attention to formulate my opinion of what's going on with the movement, I will have videos up as part of this series on the Occupy Wall Street movement. So please stay tuned for any upcoming videos of OWS and for any new viewpoints I might have, or any changes to my current opinion based on any new facts that may be brought to my attention. Thank you for watching. God bless.